There once was a lion who fancied himself the king of the forest. His claws were long and frightening. His teeth were sharp and impressive, and his roar astounded all who heard it. Yet he was unhappy, for he had come to adore a certain huntress who wandered the fields outside his domain. Every day he would watch her from afar as she tracked her prey through the grassy fields. But he could not bring himself to meet her face to face. He saw how the other animals ran and hid once they caught sight of his long claws and sharp teeth. He saw how they cowered when he let loose his bone-rattling roar. And while this was fine for his subjects, he couldn't stand the thought of the huntress being frightened so. Then one day, when he just couldn't stand it any longer, he journeyed to the center of the forest to find Mama Kookaburra. Mama Kookaburra knew all kinds of tricks and was always in a good mood, so the lion knew she would help him. "Mama Kookaburra," the lion said, "I've fallen in love with the huntress, but I fear my long claws, sharp teeth, and fearsome roar will scare her so. Will you help me be rid of these things?" Mama Kookaburra chuckled. "I will, if that is what you wish." "It is," the lion said. So Mama Kookaburra instructed the lion to rake his claws across the great stone that sat in her yard. And he did, and found that his claws were blunted down almost to nothing. Then, she told him to bite down as hard as he could on her tree's trunk. And he did, and found that his sharp teeth popped right out of his head. Finally, she told him to drink from a puddle at the base of her tree. And he did, and found that his mighty roar was reduced to a gentle mew. "Thank you, Mama Kookaburra," the lion exclaimed, trotting off to find the huntress. By the time the lion returned to the fields, night had fallen. From afar, he could see the huntress sitting by a fire with her fellow hunters. And as he crept closer, he could hear them speak. "You are a fool," one hunter cried. "The whale is the grandest of all animals. He is as long as an island, as wide as a river, and he sings as beautifully as any bird." "You are the fool," the second hunter replied. "The bison is the grandest of all. His body is as solid as a mountain, and his countenance as stoic as a cliffside. And his hair is nice too." "You are both fools," the huntress laughed. "The lion is clearly the grandest animal of them all. His claws rival my own hunting knives, his teeth are sharper than my spear, and his roar shakes the forest itself. I have only ever seen him from afar, but I can tell he is the grander animal." The lion's heart sank as he looked down at his blunted claws, feeling the soft gums where his sharp teeth had once been. He let out a mournful mew and slunk back into the forest, searching for Mama Kookaburra once more. "Mama Kookaburra," Lion said when he found her, "I've been a fool." Mama Kookaburra chuckled. "Yes, you have, my dear. You were so worried about what the huntress might dislike about you, you never stopped to consider what she might value." "But do not fret, my child," the old bird chortled. "We will set you right." And with a flick of her feathers, the lion's claws grew back, sharper and longer. His teeth popped back into his head, wider and stronger. And his roar, though it was thoroughly impressive before, was now ever so slightly more so. The lion thanked the old bird profusely and hurried off towards the fields once more. When morning came, Mama Kookaburra flitted to the top of her tree and peered out across the forest to the plains beyond. From her high perch, she could just make out against the rising sun 2 shapes, one on 2 legs, one on 4, bounding happily across the distant fields, together.